let's check this out. So we're gonna look at the Floyd Rose in this guitar here. Over the past 3 years, I made some changes to it, and this Floyd Rose is not an original. It's either a license or a special. Most likely it's a license, and I just wanna see if I improve the tuning stability at all. So when I first got this guitar, I knew I wouldn't be able to set it up myself, so I took it to a fairly reputable luthier in the area, had him set it up, hoping that it would improve the tuning stability, and really that didn't happen as evidenced in this video. Then I changed the spring configuration on it. Someone had mentioned in one of my videos, instead of the triangular position, why don't you try the parallel position? I did that, and that worked great right from the beginning. But as I kind of thought, it didn't really last. But still better than it was before. Then when I read about you cut the ball end off of the string, and it's kind of a rough part, you put that in the saddle block area, and because it's kind of rough there, it'll have something to grip onto and it's not going to slip out as easy. Now when I did that, ever since I did that, I haven't had one string pop out of there. I know some people say you're not supposed to do that, but it's been working well for me. Then after that, I got the pickpocket and I set up the intonation on myself because I really felt like it wasn't as good as it could be. And while I didn't think that the intonation would have anything to do with tuning stability, I just wanted to make sure everything was balanced. And no, it didn't really do anything except just make my guitar sound better. And the last upgrade I did was about 3 months ago. That was putting the titanium saddle blocks in there. And when I put those in there, because they're titanium, I cranked it pretty hard to make it as tight as possible. And I gotta admit, I did a lot of videos since then, and I have hardly had any kind of tuning issues. I mean, a little bit here and there. I haven't been checking to see if the tuning is spot on or not. I've just been using my ears. And I can tell it's a little bit out of tune here and there, but not that bad, and it's certainly tolerable. So let's check right now and see how tuned it actually is. Okay, we got the tuner right where we want it. First note, E. A little bit flat. B is a little bit flat too. Oh, G is spot on. D is almost flat. A is a little bit flat, and the E is considerably more flat than the others. So whenever I'm checking the tuning on my guitar and I don't want to actually do it with a tuner, I just want to play a few chords to see if it's in tune or not, these are the chords I always use. That's a little out of tune. So is that. That doesn't sound too bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, so those chords I played, not perfectly in tune, but I had noticed over the past 3 months, when that did happen, I would pull up on the whammy bar real quick, and somehow, maybe it's all in my head, we'll test it out here in a second, but it felt like it kind of pulled it back in tune. So let me do it real quick and then play those chords again, and then show it on the tuner and see if there's any difference. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that actually sounded a little bit better to me. Not perfect again, but better than it was the first time I did it. So let's check it out in the tuner. Okay, E's a little bit flat. Oh, B is almost there. G is still the same. D's in tune. A is definitely better. And E is better too. Now I'm going to do some dive bombs and hyperpoles just like I did a few years ago when I first did this experiment. I actually don't plan it to stay in tune that well because the strings are old and I've been kind of messing with it for a while now, but let's just see what happens. Wow, that turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Let's check it out in the tuner. Okay, we went flat again. B went flat again too. Even the G went flat. A went flat, or that was D. D went flat. A went flat again. And E went considerably flat. Let's see if we can yank it back into position. Gotten better. Yep. Back to how it was. So I guess the question is, did any of these 5 steps help with the tuning stability? And the short answer is yes, but we have to look at it from 2 different ways. Moderate whammy bar use and full-on whammy bar use. So the very first video I did on the whammy bar about 2 or 3 years ago, that was a full-on use right there. I went the full extension of the whammy bar all the way down, all the way up, several times back and forth. And in that video, the part that was really bad about it was some of the strings went sharp, some of them went flat, so it completely threw it out of tune. Today I did the same thing, going full-on extension, all the way down, all the way up, and it did go out of tune, but some of the strings stayed really close to the notes they're supposed to be on, and some of them just went moderately flat, some of them went slightly flat, so it gave the illusion that it really didn't go that much out of tune, at least compared to that video I did a few years ago, which is good. So the second type of whammy bar use was moderate, and from the time I installed those titanium saddle blocks, which is about 3 months ago, up until yesterday, I only used the whammy bar moderately. So for example, if you look at the one video I did for Ola England's contest, there's a riff in there where I think I dived down moderately twice. And of course, when I was making up the riff, I did that riff many times over and over again, but I didn't go the full extension. I didn't take that bar and go all the way down. And keeping that in mind, that I've only done it moderately for the past few months, the tuning has stayed pretty stable, and that's what you saw at the beginning of this video. So either one or all or some of these 5 steps did improve the tuning stability, not to the extent that I wanted, but better than without doing it, I think. And out of the 5 steps I did here, which ones contributed the most to the tuning stability, I really don't know. I'm going to take a wild guess and say the titanium saddle blocks, plus the cutting off the ball end and using the rougher part inside of the saddle blocks were probably the 2 most effective points in improving tuning stability, but to be honest, I have no evidence for this. This is just pure speculation on my part and feeling, which means nothing.
Doesn't mean anything. Those are just words.
Right? What do you guys think? Out of those 5 steps there, did any of those contribute to my tuning stability improvement, or is it all in my head? Let me know in the comments below. But before you go, one question for you. When I put those titanium saddle blocks into my guitar and I changed my strings at the time, I made sure the Floyd Rose plate on there was perfectly level with the body of my guitar as it should be. But if you look at it now, you can see it dipping in the back. If my string tension hadn't changed at all, it's been completely locked the whole time, and I didn't do anything to the spring tension underneath it, why would it dip down like that? Is that some kind of fault mechanically of the guitar, or is that something I did to mess it up? If you know why, let me know in the comments below. See you next time!